Hi, welcome in. This is Michael with Viral Funding Solutions. I'm a business funding expert, a business loan broker expert, you could say, pre-underwriter/underwriter. And before I get into going about how to get a business loan, even one with up to 10K, instant same day approval in 10 minutes, more or less, I do want to show my appreciation and gratitude and let you know how grateful I am of you. It's hard for a lot of us to start a business, let alone continue it. And then it's another thing to have someone that you can trust that is accountable and responsible, reliable, loyal along the way to not only help you getting funding, but the right type to help you improve your business's cash flow, profitability, learn how to get more and better leads, market it better, do all of these different things to help you grow your business, its revenue, the sales, profitability, have better cash flow, better numbers overall, a yield, and in many other ventures. So I just want to say thank you for allowing yourself to let me be a part of that, to help you along the way, whether you've received funding through me, from me, or you will, or just haven't, but you've been able to see that education and make a change. If I've been able to make at least a change in not only your perception and beliefs and guidance on the funding side, where to turn to, why, what, where, how, all of these questions answered, but the change in you as a person. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of that. And what I mean by it is your health and your relationships. That's a big goal of mine. Don't think that I'm in this for the monetary reasons. I get it's a business and at a point that has to make sense, but I care about the value that I can bring you in terms of education, showing you and telling you things you can't find publicly released online and things that others are not sharing with you. And so thank you again for being there, being present, being accountable, being responsible, having the characteristics and not just settling for less. Knowing that there's another person on this end who's a person at the end of the day who just like you goes home or is home already and disconnects to be around their family and friends, to take time away for themselves, to care about others, do other things, give back to the community. I'm always thankful. I'm always grateful. I don't let things bother me. You could say I'm thick-skinned, a little bit nerdy about things. But thank you for putting up with me when it comes to those things. On this end, it's not always easy. And on your end, I know it isn't. In many ways, not just funding, but as a person. And so when I quote unquote default, as in go back to what I appreciated a lot or appreciate a lot of, is the character of a person. This meaning their attitude, their effort, their beliefs, their values, their vision, their mission, what they aspire, who they are outside of their business, outside of their reputation, how people know you. That's what matters to me a lot. And I hope you can see that as well. So there you go. I wanted to show you, or just more so, I guess you could say, tell you how appreciative I am of you. And if things haven't gone your way in terms of getting funding and how to use that funding after, or some parts of the journey, then just stepping back away from it, taking a breather, taking some time off, understanding where you're having flaws or difficulty. And it's not just on the business, but on the personal side that can help you leverage that. Okay, I could say quite a bit more. I wanted to leave it at that. But now let me transition into a topic on business funding. So recently there's been a release of an up to 10K instant same day approval funding. And before you even hear that, there are 3 ways to get funding: credit, cash flow, collateral. You either have one of these 3, 2, or all 3. If none, business, trade, credit as a startup and as a non-startup. And once more, in case this wasn't said, and just so you know, I am an introverted type. I'm an analytical person. I studied, I went to school, I educated myself, played a little bit of Division I soccer, studied a little bit of sociology, and then I moved into chemical engineering classes. Went down that route for a while. Chemistry, by far my favorite class. And then I had to make a transition as I wanted to start a business over time. So I made a big change and I got into the business side. Went deeper into that. I've done construction, manufacturing, financial logistics, warehousing, these things in my younger 20s. Without going into that, let me pivot back to this. But yes, there is an up to 10K instant same day approval funding that I want to make mention of. And this doesn't have any strict credit requirements. In fact, none. Literally, you can have bad credit and still have a chance to be looked at. No credit requirements, but here are some of the things that we look for. Usually you want to have at least 4 months of time in business with at least 3 months of bank statements. You do want to have a minimum of at least $3,000 per month on your lowest month in the last 90 days. Why? Because why would we accept any less if the default rate of those are high or things just change? It's not a serious business. There's a lot of things that happen and a lot of complications that can take place. So those would be some of the requirements. Of course, you don't normally want to have more than 5 non-sufficient funds or more than 5 negative days in the last 90 or so days. Bounce checks, overdrafts, being careful of that. And there's a little bit more. And I've created a video on this, so I won't go into it in depth right now. But just know that that is available. And I'll leave it down below for you in the description to learn more about. Perhaps a document, perhaps a quick access link, or you'll have that video you can watch where I think it was a live that I did, yes. And I'll show you the specific qualifications and requirements, but it's a great entrance point, especially if you have low revenue. If you're doing between 3 to about 14 or 15,000, you'll fall within this lender. And this lender typically only looks at doing an automatic approval, where it is very safe and secure, just so you know this, where they're going to do bank linking through Plaid. It's software used out there that many use. And this is going to help verify the account. This is going to help verify the eligibility, making sure everything, the deposits and everything is there without changing anything, of course, not taking anything. I can't do that. Not do that at all. It's just to verify that you are, it's not stated income revenue. Like that'd be atrocious if we were just depending on your stated income. That wouldn't work. Like, we can't just take your word for that. It's not a credit application. And so with that, they're going to ask for the credentials, very safe and secure. Put the information in, boom. Let Plaid do its work. Let the lender do their work. Boom, done. And why they can't do manual, it takes a lot of upfront work, a lot of people to pay to do that. Although there are a lot of files, so many of them end up getting declined. So many of them, the manpower, the default rate, there's no use for that. A company would lose business if they did that. So those are just some of the qualifications. Now, let me quickly get into another one. You have credit. And I'll go into collateral. We'll go to the comments and close up. Credit backed. You have creative credit-based financing in multiple ways. A personal term/installment loan. You have personal credit cards, even at a 0% interest level. Business credit cards at a 0% interest level, much better. Personal lines of credit. So we either can do one or multiple, it just depends on the client and what they bring. But this is a great addition if you're a startup. If you have pre-revenue or just a little bit of revenue, or even if it's enough, but your depositing frequency is like you have more withdrawals and then you have a lot less revenue coming into the business, your starting and ending, your ending bank, daily bank balance or your ending monthly balance is just too low, but you have the credit for it, credit would be helpful. But you just don't have enough revenue, or you do have enough revenue, but you want to leverage credit for several reasons. There are those 0% interest cards, and I've created content on this in the past that I won't go into all the specifics in this video, so I'll link it for you down below in the description. Combination or one, whichever ones you can apply for or get approved for, and whichever one makes most sense. Now, number 3, you have collateral. Simply put, assets. Anything tangible that you can put up, that you can pledge in order to get funding. Now, if you're pre-revenue, you likely don't have anything there, or you do because of other business ventures and real estate or whatever it is, primary home, you're pulling out equity out of. But there's that side. If you're generating revenue in the business at a certain capacity, then we can use collateral in that case. But if you don't, there's also equity backed, there's liquidity and things we need to look at. You have cash on hand, or is it in the banks? Where is it tied into? So there are different options. And now, going back to this, on the revenue side with the up to 10K, there's other programs out there, of course, with other lenders, where it's up to 2 million, up to 5 million, even more than that. Lines of credit, equipment financing, SBA loans, the list goes on. So it's just about knowing which ones you can go after and which ones you shouldn't or can't, and then working from there, and then seeing if we can move into another one over time. Or do you get another one here? Do you get another one there because you needed it? And you grew your revenue, so you're going to get more the next time. You've been proving to make the payments on this, so now you can get a next one. And it's when you over leverage yourself, you become an issue about this. You don't want to be an issue when it comes to all of this. You don't want to find yourself not being able to make the payments. And if you can't make, like, if it's one thing to have a lot of payments, it's another thing to not pay them. Like right now I'm doing debt restructuring with plenty of clients. One of them, I'm looking at their debt schedule right now as we speak. I already did all my numbers, and they're not missing payments. They've paid other things off, or others haven't paid other things down or off completely. So it's one thing to miss payments, it's another thing to have a lot of payments and not miss them, or have a lot of payments and miss multiple. You don't want to be in that position. Does anybody have any questions? Anything they would like to ask? Yes, Angela, I think you got more or less what we were getting at. I'll leave it open for a little bit and then I'll get going. Let's do 30 seconds. Okay, everybody, appreciate you all. Thank you for joining me today and hearing parts of this out, if not all of it. I'll try to leave more information in the description and in the bio for you to check out. But yeah, that's where I will leave it at. If you haven't subscribed, I guess, please feel free to subscribe. Follow me for more content that I'll be coming out with on this, as well as other opportunities to seek. I'm always coming up with new topics, new up-to-date market information on a bunch of different variety of things. And I'm focused on what I do, and you'll get what you need to. Don't worry about that. If you're having questions about something, and the questionnaire form down below will be the best place to begin with. Like, I have literally everybody fill that out. And if you enjoyed the video and you're watching this here on YouTube later on or now, please feel free to give it a thumbs up, share it with others so you feel will find value from it. It can be a complete stranger, a friend, or a family member, but that's where I will leave you. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me. Speak to you on the next one.